Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Catrice Miller, and welcome to my Lunchtime LinkedIn series, where we take important topics where you can learn, get great resources related to your careers and advancing that area of your network. And we do this over the lunchtime hour just to make it convenient for everyone and just to make it super helpful. So today we are talking about when the paycheck stops and how to get paid in a government shutdown or a layoff. Now, for those of you that follow me, you know I bring lots of great content, useful information, and a lot of that information is very proactive, meaning how can we change our resumes to make them more future facing? How can we enhance our networking on LinkedIn? But it's very much proactive work. Today, what we're talking about is a bit of a different situation. Today, I'm talking to the person who is not looking for a quick resume fix, is not looking for how they can better utilize and leverage LinkedIn and grow their network. This person that I'm talking to today is the person who has experienced a shutdown in their income, whether it be from the government shutdown itself or from a corporate layoff. These people don't need another quick fix. They need real strategies in real time that can bring money into their households and to help them survive what is an incredibly stressful situation. Now, what brings me to this is obviously everything we see on the news and what so many people are going through. But what qualifies me for this conversation is the fact that I myself have survived two government shutdowns as well as corporate layoffs. So I know very well how you guys feel. I know the stress that it causes, and especially those of you who are parents and have children who are heads of households, you are now faced with this incredible stressful dilemma for how you are going to financially survive this situation and navigate it. And what adds to that stress in my particular situation, as I'm sure many of you can relate to, is literally just a month ago, you were profitable. You were doing well. You may not have been super rich, but you were doing well. You and your family were surviving. And now in less than a month, your whole trajectory of your finances has changed. So that's an underlying message I want to focus on during this conversation. What can we learn from this to avoid being in this situation again? Understand, we cannot control the government. We cannot control corporations, but what we can control is our own networking, our own branding, and our own valuing of our expertise and packaging of it and showcasing of it so that we can ensure that we are going to be financially stable no matter who's the president, no matter what party is in control or who we actually work for. So let's dive into this conversation. As I said before, I've survived this myself. So what I'm bringing to you today are things that I have actually done during my shutdown situations as well as corporate layoffs. So this is not just information I got from ChatGPT or read on the internet. These are things that really work for me. Now, obviously, there are no guarantees that they'll work for you. Everyone is different. Situation and circumstances are different, but they are incredibly useful tools and resources that I believe will be helpful to you. So let's dive in to our conversation today. I actually have some notes here for you, and I'm going to share these resources for you as well once we complete our actual live presentation. Okay, guys, let's dive in. So first, let's talk about what are the two most common mistakes that career professionals are making right now. Before we get into the solution, let's look at some of the concerns or areas where there are some missteps. Number one, I feel like on one end of the spectrum, it's the individuals who are not allowing themselves to really understand the emotional toll that this situation takes on your life. This is a situation that creates incredible stress for you, your family, for your finances. And in order for you to progress, financially and be profitable, you have to first understand the impact that this has had on you and the emotional toll. I feel that lots of people understand the financial toll that it's taking on their bank accounts, on their household budgets, but they're not taking the time to really process how emotionally overwhelming this can be, and they're not taking care of themselves as such. So before we dive into, incredible resources and opportunities for you to actually change this situation, I want you to first reflect and make sure that you are all taking care of yourselves mentally and emotionally as you go through this incredibly stressful situation. All right, the next mistake that I'm seeing is that many individuals are waiting for the job market to change instead of changing their job search strategies. This is not a time to sit back on the sidelines and ride the wave and think that things are going to progressively get better or things are going to change. Companies are moving fast. They're making strategic decisions, and we're starting to see a shift in how companies think and how they actually hire and how they are running their organizations. If you notice, for as many companies that are actually listing layoffs, they are also extremely profitable. So many times, and quite oftentimes, this is not a situation where companies are going broke and they don't have the money to actually pay the employees. Instead, what's happening is that they're being strategic and they're altering how they define profitability and how they define their productivity, which causes us as career professionals to also make a pivot and change how we present ourselves in the job market. So that's something that definitely needs to be looked into and considered as we progress into this new process. Now, moving to what are the 3 things that professionals should be doing as we enter our options for gaining money during a shutdown. The first thing you need to do is audit your value, not just your resume. So what this means is that we're not looking for you to do a resume fix, resume updates, and looking to itemizing what you have done as you look for money to earn during a shutdown. Instead, you need to be focusing on what problems have you solved, what processes have you improved, what outcomes have you driven. Because now during this individual time where we are trying to make money outside of our traditional career, we're going to be focusing on performance, and companies are paying for that performance that you can bring to the organization. So that starts with actually auditing your value and understanding not just what jobs did you do, what titles you had held, what is the underlying value for those positions, because it's that value that we're going to add to the resources that are going to actually bring you money during this time. All right. The next thing we need to do is, once we do that value assessment, we need to define your expertise and name it. Clarity creates opportunity. And in this market, you cannot overlook this important aspect. Specialists are the ones who are going to get booked for these resources that we're talking about in this live, meaning that you cannot go into these resource opportunities with just a generalized notion that, oh, I work in compliance, or I work in labor and employment, or I just work in HR. You need to define what is your expertise, and once you're able to define your expertise, that's going to be your niche area that you are going to be able to market into one of the 3 resources that we're going to talk about today. And then lastly, the last thing we're going to talk about before we actually dive into the resources is the changing of the mindset. You need to think like a career consultant, not just a job candidate. What do I mean by that? I mean, shift the thinking of looking for someone to hire you to looking to instead who needs to know what expertise I have and what value I bring. Job seekers are looking for who will hire me. We are instead looking for who needs the value and the knowledge and the expertise that I have so that I can market that to these organizations to earn money during these difficult times. All right, now let's dive directly into the actual 3 sources that we have for how you can make money during a shutdown. I also want to reiterate, these are going to be things that you're going to be doing in addition to still looking for full-time employment. This is not to take the place of full-time employment. This is instead opportunities and options you can use to earn money while you're looking for that full-time job. Okay, so let's dive into the first one. The first one is going to be looking for employment short-term assignments with staffing and talent placement firms. These are going to be organizations that connect companies with professionals to fill temporary, contract, and full-time roles, often as well. In this particular situation, the business model is this. You're going to have an organization who is contracted with the employer or with the company, and they are looking for talent such as the one that you may have or individuals in your field. Now, the catch is that the reason they come to these organizations, to these staffing firms, is that just like you see all the resumes and applications that are being submitted online through LinkedIn and other sources, companies are receiving all of these applications, hundreds, even thousands sometimes, for one job opportunity. So they want to weed through all of that. They want to cut to the chase, and they want someone who can identify who is a viable candidate for the job opportunity that we have. And that is why they contract with the staffing and talent placement firms to bring them that information. Excuse me. So the benefit to you is that the staffing firm is going to do all the work for you as well as doing the work for the company. There's a huge incentive for the staffing firm to find viable, great candidates for these positions because they receive their payment not from you, but they receive their payment from the company that they're contracted with. So it's a win-win situation for the staffing firm as well as the candidate who they're placing. And the great thing about these jobs is that they can be short-term, temporary, under a contract, and they also have longer contracts. Some contracts can be 6 months, even up to a year. So this can be a great option for bringing income in while you're looking for more of a permanent role. Another great opportunity here is one particular staffing firm, which I work with quite frequently, which is Robert Half Legal. Robert Half has multiple divisions. Legal is one of those divisions. They actually have opportunities where you can be hired by Robert Half to work for them, and they will then assign you out to contract work. Now, what makes them unique is that if you are hired by them in that capacity and you're on their payroll, they will continue to pay you while you are not working, looking for your next assignment. Let me break that down. So you get hired by Robert Half as a consultant, or in this consulting capacity, you go and work for them for, let's say, a 4-month assignment. Once the assignment is over, while you're waiting for your next assignment, they will actually pay you while you are waiting. So if there's a 2-month gap, let's say, before the next assignment, you're getting paid during those 2 months. Now, this is a very unique program they have, and I encourage you to contact them to learn more about it. I'll be sure to share their information here in my comment section. But this is another great way to earn money during this time because, because they have so many options. The short-term temporary assignments, the longer-term consulting assignments, and they have many different industries that they service. So I'll be sure to drop the link to their information here in the comments as well. Okay. Moving on to the next opportunity. Now, this is one that a lot of people ironically have not heard of. And I had not heard of it myself until I was actually experiencing a corporate layoff, and this opportunity was presented to me. And at first I thought, okay, this is not legit. It's not a real thing, because it just seemed too easy, to be honest. But like I said before, everything I'm bringing you today, these are things that I have actually done myself, and I really want to make sure I'm bringing credible information to you. So this is one that I can vouch for. This opportunity or this resource is partnering with expert network and knowledge on demand firms. This type of business model is one in which the organization, which is the firm here in the middle, the organization that does the placement, they are partnering with equity firms, they're partnering with companies, they're partnering with investors, lots of different resources and organizations feeding into their firm. Quite oftentimes, these are going to be overseas entities, individuals who are abroad, who are interested in learning how U.S. corporations work. And in order to learn how U.S. corporations work, they are looking for qualified experts from top name companies and who have had extensive experience in their particular industry. I'll actually drop a list in the comments of the most common industries that they're looking for. But one example is HR compliance. It'll be a company who's interested in, let's say, wanting to know, how does Microsoft handle HR compliance? What are their different benchmarks as far as profitability for how they set up their teams? Now, keep in mind, they're not looking for proprietary information. That's very key. And that is one of the pillars of the expert network firms. They're not looking to solicit private information that should not be shared. Instead, they are looking for your expertise as someone who has worked in the industry, who has worked at top companies, who has led in these spaces, to actually give them insight into how this expert information and expert process works. Now, here's the great thing about this. These consulting calls can pay up to $500 an hour. Yes, literally $500 an hour. You can even negotiate more depending upon special circumstances. I'll give you a great example. I had a call where they wanted to learn about immigration policies. They wanted to see, how do the top companies here in the U.S. handle their immigration policies? Now, they understand how U.S. immigration works. That's something they can go to USCIS's website to see what the different visa categories are. Instead, what they're looking for is, they're looking for, how do companies in the U.S. handle, or how do they approach sponsorship? Meaning, do they immediately sponsor people for H-1B visas? How often is the common time between actually getting an H-1B visa versus actually the company sponsoring you for a green card? Those types of things. So that's the information they're looking for. Now, they will pay between $250 to $500 an hour for this consultation call. But because they're often abroad, they want to have these calls on what's known to us as off-peak hours, meaning they may want to have a call at 10 o'clock on a Monday night, because that's going to be more convenient for them in the time zone abroad. So because of that, you can even add premium pricing to your consultation call. And I have been paid as much as $750 for 1 hour talking about immigration policies. Now, let's talk about procedurally, how does this work? So you contact the companies or the actual firms who are the middleman between you and the corporations seeking the information. You get on their register, meaning they have a list of experts in the field by the categories of their industries they work for and the actual companies that they work for as well. When they get an assignment or a request or a job from one of the companies who they contract with, they go to their database and see, okay, who is an expert in an immigration law? Who's an expert in corporate compliance? Who's an expert in advertising and marketing? And who's an expert in these areas at leading firms? they find you on their list because you're registered with them. They'll contact you, and they'll contact you by email, and they'll say, hey, we have this job. We have this opportunity for a consulting call. They'll give you a preview of the questions that they want to address. I always encourage that. I always ask for the questions ahead of time just to give me some idea of what direction we're going to, go during the call. And then if you're interested in it, then you accept and say yes. They'll then schedule the call for you. The call takes place, and then you are literally paid within about 3 to 5 business days from the date of the call. And I actually am going to share one of the leading companies I work with. I'll drop that in the comments as well. Alpha Sites. I've worked with them, and I have made hundreds of dollars while I was laid off doing this option. Now let's talk about pros and cons of this option. Clearly the pro is the pay. You can have a conversation about something that you are an expert in and that is easy to talk about for an hour and earn $500 or more, even depending upon the time of the call. Now, the downside is that it's not consistent. I've had times when I was doing this where I may get 3 of these calls in 1 week, or then I've had times where I haven't heard from them in a month. And it's only because they can't predict what the industries and the organizations are going to contract with them to seek expertise and guidance on. So it really is not something that you can consistently pay your bills on because it is a bit sporadic as far as when the work will come in, but it's a great supplement for someone who's working now and wants to earn extra money, or for someone who is currently not working and looking for ways to bring extra income in. And I actually contacted Alpha Sites to ask them, because I've been doing this since I went through a shutdown. So it's been about maybe 5 years now. So I couldn't quite remember how I even got started in this. So I contacted them, letting them know I was going to do this live presentation to find out what's the best way for someone to break into this industry and to start working with them. They said they normally find people. Now, here's the theme. I always tell you guys, they find people on LinkedIn. I tell you all the time, there are so many reasons your LinkedIn profile needs to be optimized, up to date, and marketable for you. That's how they actually found me. They found me on my LinkedIn profile. And because the way I had showcased and set up my expertise on my profile, they reached out to me. So I asked them, well, I have people who'll be joining this live who are in a time crunch. They don't have time to, quote unquote, wait to be discovered. So what's the best way for them to get started on doing these short-term assignments? And they told me that I, as someone who has been working with them, I have the capability to refer people to their organization. So you guys know I'm not a gatekeeper. I believe in sharing all the information and all the opportunities. So if this is something that you are truly interested in, or you want to learn more information about it, I encourage you to schedule a quick call with me, a career strategy call. During that call, I'll go over this more in depth with you. I'll have you send me your resume so I can review your resume. And then once we do that, if I feel like you're a good fit, I'm going to refer you. No fee for me, no signing up for anything. This is literally me looking out for you guys and trying to give you options during this very stressful financial time. So I'll be sure to share that information, making sure I have the link for a consultation call, and we'll take it from there. But this is, once again, a great opportunity in a way that you can earn extra money during these times. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Okay, number 3 is somewhat similar to the first 2, but we're going to remove the actual organizations that we were talking about in the first 2, and you're going to go straight to these corporations yourselves. You're going to market and package your expertise, and you are going to position yourselves to start being a consultant or corporate trainer directly to organizations. Now, pros and cons of this one. A lot of people tell me all the time, well, I don't have a fancy website, and I don't have, this great buildup, or I don't have all the bells and whistles. All those things are great. But remember, We are talking about how we can monetize our expertise quickly in a fast-paced way to bring money in during this shutdown or during a corporate layoff. So I'm going to tell you the things that you need to absolutely do in order to start doing this work. Number one, you have to identify what I call a sellable skill. This is somewhat similar to the previous resource when we were talking about what is your area of expertise, what is your value add. This is going to be the same thing. If a company is going to hire you, you need to have a sellable skill. You have to show them what problem you fix, what do you teach that will save them money and time, how are you a value add to their organization. Once you identify that sellable skill, then you're going to need to create an offer. Now, we can spend days, weeks, even months on creating a perfect offer. Once again, we don't have the time frame in this situation because we are trying to do this quickly and ramp up and earn money during this short period of time. So what you want to do is create something as a simple consulting offer. It can be a one-page landing page. It can be a consulting offer like on something that you might present through LinkedIn, like a consulting menu, if you will, something that is going to be very direct and to the point, something that you can market and that's going to show what services you actually have and how they can be a value add to the company. Now, the way that you're going to present this to people is you're going to use your extended network. My hope is that you've been following me, or even without my guidance, you have been building an extended network over the time and length of your career. So many of you are 10-year, 20-year career professionals. So you have so many networking opportunities and colleagues, former colleagues, peers in these industries. Now is a great time to reach out to them. You can do this through LinkedIn. You could do it through direct email, letting them know, hey, I am currently offering, assistance and services in fill in the blank. I'm conducting trainings and providing consultations. Would love to connect with you to see if your organization is in need of these services, or perhaps maybe you know of someone who might. That's simple. And once again, as I said before, of course, you can take this to the next level and market it more broadly and have more extensive packages and have all these great things. But if you're looking to do something quick and fast where you can showcase your expertise and earn money, that is a way you can do it. And it's very organic because you're targeting people who you have some existing relationships with. So it's not cold outreach, it's going to be warm outreach. So it should be an easier situation for you to actually do it that way. All right, so I hope this was helpful. As I promised, I like to keep these at the 30-minute mark or close to that because I want to be mindful and respectful of everyone's time during the midday hour. But if you would like copies of the resources that we've discussed today, please feel free to email me at info@corporatewinners.com. I'm going to share with you. This is something that I have created. Let's see if I can let me show. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll actually allow me to. Yeah, it's not letting me share this with you, but yeah, my apologies there. But I did create an actual chart that has all this information in it, and it has all the pros and the cons of each of these resources. It has what you need to actually utilize the resources. It has the financial capability of how much you can earn using these resources. So I do have that chart available for anyone who's interested. Feel free to email me. I'll send you that. Also, I do want to mention when we were talking about the first resource, which was the staffing and talent placement firms, for those organizations, you're going to need to create a resume specific for those types of short-term positions. So I actually have a template that you can use that can show you how to create those types of resumes. It's going to be very much like we talked about. What value do I add? So a traditional resume is going to be heavy on the experience as far as the location, all the job duties you've held. This type of resume is going to be a quick reference sheet that shows all the skills you have and all of the expertise and value you can bring to their corporate clients. So I have that available to you as well. So I'm going to share here once again. Here is the email address for the resources. Send me an email. I'll gladly send those out to you. Also, I encourage you, if you're interested in connecting with me for getting more information about the expert networking and on-demand firms, where those are the ones where you can earn up to $500 an hour per call, where I can actually act as a referral for you to the organization. Feel free to book a call with me and we'll go over that process. As I said before, for those who might be joining late, this is an opportunity that I'm presenting to you and offering to you completely free. There's no need to sign up for anything. I don't get any kickback from the company at all. This is just something that I want to share with you that I have used to earn money when I was going through a layoff and a shutdown. And I think it can definitely be a great value add to you guys as you are navigating this space. So in closing, I will leave this email address here on the screen, and I want to close with this. As many resources and ideas and knowledge and information that we can share with you, there's nothing more important than protecting your mindset and maintaining your confidence during this time. As I said before, I have been exactly where you are, and I was there with 2 children, worrying about how in the world am I going to pay my mortgage? Am I going to have my house foreclosed on? How am I going to make it through this? I sought out government assistance as far as different packages they had for individuals. Many times those come up short because the resources run out or they're not useful and they don't give you what you think they're going to give you. So honestly, I am speaking from a place where I know exactly how you guys feel. And as much as I am a career coach, I'm also head of household. I was a single mom. I was all the things that resonates with what you guys are going through right now. And my main objective during this time is to be a resource to you and to help my community as much as I possibly can. So please do use my email address for any questions you may have. Set up consultations with me for strategy calls just to figure out where you go next, or any way that I can be of assistance to you. I am here to help. All right, guys, I hope you have a fabulous Monday afternoon and a great work week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.